5 weeks in. I hope everybody's holding up well. I hope you're all looking forward to a couple of hours of relaxing with a dram, along with me and all the other dedicated barflies and fantastic whiskey folk. Hello, whiskey folk. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday night extended opening Sunday session. I hope everybody's well despite the continued craziness. We're about 5 weeks in now, and certainly in the UK at least, it's been announced that we're looking at this holding pattern for at least another 3 weeks ahead. So it's pretty tricky times. We're all dealing with different dynamics and circumstances, but for this short pocket of time, as is usual on the vPub, we try not to think too much or talk about the C word. Welcome everybody. Fantastic to see so many of you in as always. I'm going to be trying something a wee bit different tonight. The Thursday vPubs that go out every week tend to have a theme, a topic to discuss, perhaps a guest and somebody that's far more knowledgeable than I am, some kind of fun thing to rely on. But the Sunday night things, these extended opening, as I'm calling them on a Sunday night, it's just a laid-back chat and hang out with you. You bring the topics of discussion, you bring the fun, whatever you want to talk about. You can make it a Q&A session. You can just chat to each other in the lounge if you like. But it's just to kind of spend a little bit of downtime and relax before another crazy week ahead. Pete James, he's saying cheers, malt mate. Cheers, Pete. That looks like a new name. He's bought me a virtual dram, and I'm going to actually raise this wee dram that I poured just before going live. This is I reached into my sample box tonight, and it's a Gregor McQueen sample. This is McCarthy's Oregon single malt. I don't think this is the peated one. But Pete, I'm going to raise this glass and say Sláinte, and thank you for your virtual dram, and welcome here. So the Sunday nights are a bit more laid back, a bit more casual, but I've kind of been working on adding a bit of fun, a wee bit of edgy entertainment or energy into the proceedings. And if it worked well, maybe we'd extend it as to being a regular feature, maybe not. I'm a bit concerned that I've bitten off more than I can chew, but bringing in for a small pocket of time during these streams, a wee bit of a game show element. Russell Whisky has just said Sláinte and bought me a virtual dram as well. Russell, thank you so much for your virtual dram, and thank you also for your recent support inside Patreon. Thank you, Russell. I hope you're doing very well. Cheers, my friend. This is peated. This is the one that tripped me up in the blind challenge from Gregor as well. He'd slipped this in to try and have it parading as a Scotch, I guess. But while I picked that up, it took me a while to recognise the peat in it. It had to be pointed out to me for anybody that watched that community blind challenge a while back. But yes, a bit of a game show element, something that kind of involves and connects the community a wee bit, something that's interactive for the community, so they can choose to interact if they want, something that's got a bit of a forfeit, a bit of a gamble, a bit of an edge to it. Yes, that's kind of what I've been working on. I shared a little bit inside Patreon earlier today, and I've been working over the last few days on dry runs to try and iron out some of the kinks. But it's looking like it could be problematic in some ways, but I'm still willing to give it a wee try. But we're not going to do it now. There's some people here tonight, my moderators have reached to tonight to give it a bit of a dry run, a sample run tonight, and we'll do it in a few minutes' time. And you can feed back to me and say, yeah, Roy, that was good fun, or you can just say, Roy, what's that about? What are you doing? What are you thinking about? Keep it to the format that we've all grown to enjoy. But if you're not evolving things, if you're not developing things, if you're not bringing in new ideas, it's like I said earlier on today, if I didn't want to introduce any new ideas, there might never have been a vPub, there might never have been recycled reviews or whatever it is. So sometimes you've kind of just got to go with your gut a little bit and try new things, especially if it's something that can connect people, if it's something that puts whiskey knowledge, whiskey sharing forefront. and still can connect to community, I think that that's worth trying out. Let's jump in and see who's here tonight, and welcome some of you fantastic people. Richard Agnew is here. Good to see you, Richard. He's saying, Roy, how's your wife doing at her work? Well, she's been doing some out of hours, some extra time, shift coverage over the last week or so. It's been Easter break here, but she's back at work tomorrow full time. So she's doing okay so far. She's doing okay. Her whole work environment has been restructured, but thanks, Richard, for asking. We're all very well, and we're all doing okay so far. I hope you are too. Gixer Skipper Luke is in saying, good evening, Roy. Hope you're well, liking the blue shirt. Actually, I put this on tonight because it was cold in here. It got to 15 degrees in Glasgow today. So we opened all the doors and all the windows. It was really sunny and warm when we were in the sun. Bit of a cold breeze still blowing though. So when it got cooler tonight and the windows and doors were still open, the house got cold really quickly. So I was sat here in my t-shirt and realised I was going to have to reach for a shirt. I was wearing this last night for my stream with Matt, Sarah and Will from Whisky Crusaders. I appeared on their celebration stream last night to celebrate 1,000 subscribers for them, which is one of the hardest milestones to hit if you're doing this thing on YouTube. Thanks, Luke. Nice to welcome you in. Tristan History's here saying, evening, Roy. Tristan, I've still got your book here, waiting for Charlie's signature. I reached out to Charlie. I got in touch with him. He's doing very well. He's in good health, and he is working on his book now. So yes, it looks like we might be able to get that book signed. I've still to do the drawing for the other book, but as soon as I've got the other one signed as well, we'll do a draw and we can do a bit of a giveaway. Might be nicer to do it in advance, actually, and then it could be a personalised dedication from Charlie. That might be better. Vicky Thompson is saying, hello, Aquaviti and Barflies. Welcome, Vicky. I hope you're doing very, very well. Hellswood is saying, Vicky, do you not have a birthday? Was it not your birthday yesterday? I think it might have been your birthday yesterday. In fact, I'm convinced it was your birthday yesterday. I'm going to raise a wee glass and say many happy returns to Vicky Thompson. It might be belated by 24 hours or so, but I never put out a stream yesterday. So happy birthday, Vicky. And while I'm at it, I'm going to say a huge happy birthday to Mikey Hay as well, dedicated Barfly, a long-time supporter of the channel, and a friend of mine as well, who's celebrating a special birthday today with his family. Happy birthday, Mikey. Many happy returns to you both, and anybody that's celebrating a nice day during these crazy times. Cheers. Helen is here saying, evening, Roy. Grand to welcome you into our front room again. Wonderful to be here. It's nice and cozy, Helen. Thank you. Whisky Novice Jim is here saying, good evening, Roy. Good to see you, Jim. Good to have you, my friend. Intriguing review coming up on Wednesday from Jim. He sent it to me saying that he'd recorded it before I started to talk about a specific subject. So I'm curious as to what video is coming out from the Whisky Novice on YouTube this week. Gregor is saying, if that's McCarthy's, then it probably is the peated one. It definitely is. It's sitting very smoky on the palate tonight, Gregor. Thank you for it, my friend. Mark Slinger is here saying, Roy, you found the peat. Sometimes it's hiding from me. Actually, recently, I have to say, the reason it probably is hitting me nicely tonight is because I don't know if that's been conscious. I haven't been having a lot of peated whiskies recently. I've been going for lighter, fruitier whiskies. So maybe my peat palate has come back on form. Probably not though, Mark. Mashburn is here. Good to see you. Good to see you, Ross. I hope you and Jill are doing very, very well during these times. He's saying the game show host. I wouldn't go that far, but we'll try a wee bit of a game show element a bit later. Olaf is here saying, Aquaviti and all others, hope you're having a good Sunday. We are so far, and all the better to have you in here as well. Donald Rance has bought me a virtual dram saying, Slant you, Roy and fellow Barflies. Thank you for everything you've been doing. Back to work for me, but hopefully I'll be back in time for the quiz. Take care and stay safe. Donald, thank you so much. Thank you for your virtual drama, friend. Thank you for participating when you can. And I know that when you're not in here hanging out with us live, you pick it up on the replay as well. Slant you, Donald. Thank you. Whisky Novice is saying, how's the thumb, Roy? The thumb is fine. It seems to get sore in the evening at night, and I think it's just healing. I'm a bit worried if it's ever going to the nail is ever going to reattach, or if I'm just going to have to wait for it to grow out. I don't know. But it's fine. As far as injuries go, I would put it at 0.2 out of 10. It's absolutely fine. Thanks for asking, Jim. David On is saying, good evening, Roy and folk from Germany, sipping on a Four Roses single single barrel. David, are you actually in Germany? I'd never appreciated that before. Nice to have you, and I hope you're enjoying your Four Roses. Vicky is saying it was Friday, but thank you. 2 days out, Vicky. I do catch these things. I'm not very good at remembering them all the time. Top class memory there for Vicky Thompson. It would seem not. Matthew Multi-Haggis Muncher is in. Good to see you, Matthew. Jean de la Cuisine is here. Peat fatigue is a real thing. I need to stay away from peat for a while too. It's when I first came into whiskey, peat was just a step too far. I wasn't one of these people that got into it really quickly and enjoyed peat straight away. I wasn't converted into whiskey by peat. It took me quite a few years, actually, from 2005 with Glengoyne to 2009 with Lagavulin 16 before I really got a taste for peat and loved it. But now I'm at the opposite there, that I'm often reaching for so many peated whiskies, which is nice because you taste things inside the whiskey past the peat, I suppose, if you want to put a positive spin on it. But often you'll lift a peated whiskey and you just won't pick up smoke. I pass it to my wife, say, what do you get? And she goes, oh, it's a smoky one. And I take the glass back and I say, what, really? It's a real thing. And it is, I guess, is a great way to put it. It is absolutely, Jean, it is peat fatigue. Royale is saying you were damn close. I think that deserves credit. Thank you, my friend. Sillet Bang is saying, evening, Roy. I wish the lockdown will end. Having converted the missus to the stash is dwindling. That's a positive in the long run. You just need to hang on there a wee bit longer. It's great that the two of you will be able to go out and explore whiskey together. But I appreciate if you're struggling to get supplies in, maybe you just need to bolster the stock. So if such a thing ever comes around again, you're not going to be exposed. And if the two of you are exploring, then surely that's double budget, right? Che Francis is saying, I like peat, but really struggle to taste a lot past it. I know exactly what you're saying, Che. And as I've said, it's just it's one of these things like everything else, a bit of practice and experience. And Whiskey Novice Jim is saying he went to school with peat fatigue. Antonio C is in. Good to see you. He's saying hi. Good to see you as well, Antonio. Bill Monteith is saying, got a little sherry fatigue myself. Thinking about a lighter Highland malt today. It's a good idea, Bill. And any kind of whiskey fatigue in general actually is a real thing. And I have to say, and I don't want to be preachy, this isn't a show or a channel about being preachy, but it's certainly a channel that should at least support the concept of being mindful and aware. And somebody mentioned to me recently inside Patreon, they said, Roy, you're putting out a lot of content, you're appearing as a guest on these other streams and things. Are you drinking a lot? And it was a genuine question of concern, or I took it as such. And it's a valid question as well, because while we are all locked down, while all the channels are putting out so much more content, there's so many virtual tastings, virtual festivals, club meetings are happening on a virtual environment now. So it's easier, bizarrely easier, to put yourself in an environment where you're reaching for drams. Now, you're the only person that can decide if you're having too many or too often or whatever it may be. But I think I kind of have to, firstly, I want to just reassure people in general that I am mindful and I am aware of it. And I would like you to kind of look at how many drams I'm having during live streams. The Loch Lomond one was significant because I had 5 drams, but that was because we were exploring concepts and different styles and comparing. Even then, the pours weren't so big. And I'm not kind of trying to defend myself there. If I go out to a whiskey club tasting, I'll have 6 or 7, potentially 8 small drams on a whiskey, Glasgow Whiskey Club night. So you can have those nights. But in between times, I've been staying away from it. And what I've been trying to do is, if I do have a dram, is just take one generous pour and go away and watch TV. So there's literally a walk from the couch for me to go and get a dram. And just kind of decide not to. There's lots of opportunities for me to hang out with other people from the London Whiskey Club, or recently I was on a stream with the guys from Nottingham Whiskey Club as well. And that's nice and it's appealing. It's very appealing. But these things are going on all the time now. And if I involved myself in those all the time, I would probably be drinking all the time. So I think it's nice to stay a wee bit mindful in these times, just about how much we're consuming of everything. And that does include whiskey a wee bit. You remember at Christmas time a couple of years ago, I installed an app to actually count how many drinks that I had. But it didn't really work out for me because I think it just reassured me that I wasn't hitting it too hard. I wasn't hitting it as hard as I thought. So it kind of gave me free tickets to just go carte blanche on the whiskey for a few weeks. So yeah, do these things, because at least if you're monitoring it, you are one step ahead of most, and that is you have the awareness. Welcome to Aquavitae Barflies. Who was it that just joined the Barflies group? It flashed past there as I was gassing away. Bart van de Veer. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, Bart. Welcome into the Barflies. The Barflies is just a small way of supporting the channel. I'm very appreciative of it. For $1.99 a month, you get access to the custom emojis and things, the Slantia Glencairns, the bottle kill emojis and things, and you get loyalty badges. It's just to add a bit of colour and chat, and I'm very appreciative of it. For all of you who have taken that up for kicks. Donner Pass Whiskey Tim is saying, me too, struggled for years trying to appreciate peated whiskey, but by the time I finally saw the light, there was a huge new world of whiskey to try. It's a good way of looking at it, Tim, actually. And there is that staggered thing that happens in your whiskey journey, I think, that you can go through different styles, especially when it's cyclic. And you've kind of spent most of the styles and you've done a lot of exploring, but you come back to some of the lighter, more delicate whiskies that you might have tried at the start of the journey, and they're alive. There's so much more in them because you've kind of grown in your experience and your appreciation of whiskey, and something that was kind of two-dimensional and bland to you when you started out suddenly has lots more to offer. Very, very interesting. Eric Cunliffe is saying, hey Roy, I held a virtual whiskey gathering with my local whiskey society I created. Went great. Thanks for the inspiration. I think everybody's doing it, and I think they're all having a great time doing it as well. The temptation there is just to let it run into a hangout and a social gathering that just kind of peters out towards the end. It's better if there's structure and you have a thing and a theme and a tasting. You're probably maybe getting together to drink similar whiskies or whatever it may be and talk about specific things, because otherwise it can just end up being a bit of a drinking marathon. And while that's fine, occasionally you certainly don't want it to be a habit, I would suggest. But there's the preachiness happening again, so I'll stop myself. Daniel Vermas is here. Superb to see you, Daniel. He's saying sometimes just sipping water and taking care about the intake. Daniel, you're a canny man, and I don't doubt it for a second, my friend. Good to have you here again. And Luke is saying, doctor said I have a drinking problem. I said it's not a problem. I like it. Skogsmard is saying you should try going without drinking anything peated for a month or so, then record your reaction to an Octomore. Your thoughts? My opinion is that Octomore are softer than Ardbegs. Is that controversial? Please discuss. I think it's a good idea, honestly, because what I might do is just not drink peated whiskies for a while and then have a reaction to something really peaty here with you guys. Maybe mix it up with things that are only mildly or lightly peated and see if I can pick out blind the one that's peated. See if I've been able to cure my own peat fatigue. The ridiculous thing about hosting this is that peat fatigue through blind tasting and things like that is on display for everybody to see. Eric Evanson is saying, oops, where's my chat gone? Stop it. You click on the wrong thing and suddenly, there we go, we're back. Eric Evans is saying, there are moments when enjoying a peat has got me in trouble. Whiskey with subtle peat tend to fly by me like Dalwhinnie 15. Subtle peat, I had me struggling. I would absolutely not pick up any peat or smoke in a Dalwhinnie 15 unless there are lots of drams out there that when you let when you finish the whiskey, pop a coin on top or whatever, cover your glass however the way you want and don't wash it, and then come back to it hours later or the next morning, take the coin off. Smells wonderful. It's an amazing thing. And if there's a bit of puff of smoke in there, a really lightly peated thing, like a Highlander, a traditional Highlander or something like that, certainly it displays an empty glass in my experience. Tabitha is saying, true, but a 24/7 Roy cam would probably be a step too far. I don't fancy that, and I don't fancy putting you guys through that either. Bart is buying me a dram as well. Hi, Roy. Thank you for the fantastic content and for bringing us all together. Thank you for giving me a purpose that brings some value to some people during these difficult times. Cheers, Bart. Thank you for your dram. Rico is saying, how are the glass toppers doing? Available soon? I haven't even tried ringing the guy during the lockdown. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead with the glass toppers. Here are the glass toppers here. These are the prototypes. But what we were trying to do was to try and etch in a little gripper ring around the outside. So, you know, these come as a set. There's a Barfly glass topper here. There's an Aquavitae logo, a roundel here. There's the Banner logo. There's the vPub compass. And it's not whiskey till it's shared on the logo. And there's even a recycled glass topper. So they are here and I'm using them. And I'm finding that I like them. I like how clean they are. I like that they're light. But this etched ring around the side that's supposed to sit and give a bit of grip on the glass so it doesn't slide off as easily, it only works on some of the glasses. And that's not because of the coin. It's because of the nature of the way that a Glencairn is made. So I'm maybe just going to decide, look, not everybody uses Glencairns anyway, although most people do. Maybe I'll just get rid of the ring, the etched thing, because I don't want something there that kind of only works half of the time. It's kind of more likely to frustrate. Like it's nicely locked on this one tonight, but some other glasses, no, it locks on that one too. Yeah, you can see immediately. So this, clearly the top of this glass is much more uneven, or it just doesn't want to grip the same way it grips on that one. So yes, thank you for asking, Eric. They're still working. What Helen is saying, they look fab. And I was going to put them together as a little set. They would come in a little pouch. Where's my little... a little pouch. This is just a sample pouch. It'd be much smaller than that, a little kind of branded pouch, and kind of so that you could take something lightweight along to events or tastings or whatever, so that if you are wanting to isolate smells and close out other smells and things, as you just kind of concentrate on one, or try and concentrate and build up the drams inside one glass, you can use toppers to do that. And being food grade perspex kind of makes it an inert thing to do it with. Whether it works or not, we'll see, but it's better than carrying around Pringles lids and things. I'm looking at you, Precarious Dave, who's in tonight. He's saying, very nice, Roy, sign me up. Yeah, Dave, he was one of the guys that asked whether it was a good idea or not way back at the start. Marcus is saying, throwing money in your direction when that set is finished, consider it bought. I just need to get my finger out amongst everything else just now, Marcus, and get on with it and get it done. Desi is saying that I'd like to reserve a set in advance. Thank you so much. Said Martin is saying, I had a peat streak after my trip to Isla, but have come away from it. Instead going to Deanston, Clynelish and the like. Yep, welcome to the journey, Sid. And now I'll go back and enjoy it again soon, though. And it's nice to have these little mini cycles as well, where you're happy in Speyside for a bit. You're happy with a rich sherried style, a spicy sherried style. And then you go off chasing peat for a bit, and then you're just looking for something clean and creamy and malty, like a nice Highlander, a Deanston or a Clynelish. It's wonderful, and it makes me think as I speak there that it's kind of difficult with the ranges and the stuff that's available just in Scotch right now to explore world whiskey as much as I'd like to. Last night on the stream with the guys at Whiskey Crusaders, I was sipping bourbon, and what I had left in the glass after I was on the stream, I took down and sat on the sofa with 3 drams, a Stag, a Booker's, and a Wild Turkey. And they were fabulous. I really, really enjoyed them. They were good quality versions of their style, definitely. But it was nice to hang there for a bit and sip something other than Scotch for a while. But we'll never get tired of the variation. That's when tasting becomes more important than drinking. Pringle lid's just a short-term fix. What about grip function ring rather than a cutaway? Maybe I should have another consultation with Precarious Dave before I go ahead and commit to anything. Will we do that, Dave? It'd be fantastic to maybe hook up with some of the local boys here virtually as well. Then I go talking myself into a tasting when I'm talking about being mindful and aware and cutting back. But it's just too tempting. Let's get into this game show thing. Let's see if we can make this work. Just as my computer asks for an update. Later, okay, later. This idea came to me because I wanted to have a session that I could reach out to rely on when I didn't have a lot of structure, or I had themes that relied fully on me, weaker themes maybe that didn't have a supporting guest with more knowledge and all of these things. Something that could be fun and people could look forward to, and it could add a bit of a break to the monologuing from me. So I come up with this idea, and it's come right out of what we do live. You know, I'm obsessed with blind tasting. I love blind tasting, but how do you take blind tasting into a virtual form? Well, you can't really. It's not easy to do. But what you can do is mix it a little bit with basic whiskey knowledge, have a bit of a challenge and a forfeit thing going on there, and do what we do in the pubs. What we'll often do is when there's a group of us together is we'll buy a round of drinks. One person goes up to buy the round of drinks, and he buys it blind. Nobody else that's enjoying the drinks gets to know what it is, and they have to try it blind. Now, invariably, it's very rare for anybody to stick their nose in it and get it. It has to be something very familiar, something that we know very well for that to happen. And while it does happen, and it's fabulous when it happens, it's rare. So you end up in a kind of mash-up of 20 questions and tasting blind. So you start to ask questions, and there can only be a yes or a no answer. Is it a Speyside? Is it a Highland? Is it above 46%? Is it below 46%? So if I could take that and have guests just drop in for 3 minutes at a time, and within 3 minutes, they've got a malt in their hand, they've got a bottle handy, and they simply answer questions from me, yes or no. I try and determine in 10 questions and in 3 minutes what that whiskey is. Now, if they feel brave, they can be the one to ask the questions. Normally, it would be me that's asking the questions to try and determine what the whiskey is. But if they feel brave, I'll give them the option, are you asking or are you answering? And I would imagine most people will say answering because they'll have a whiskey. Now, I wouldn't want people to reach out and get really obscure whiskies to try and catch me out. That's too easy to do. 3 minutes and 10 questions. It's just too easy to catch people out. So it has to be Scotch, single malt from core range. That's over 100 distilleries still. And of course, there's plenty releases from a lot of those distilleries. So there's hundreds of whiskey that we could choose from, but it has to be core range. And it has to be Scotch single malt. And you can have your bottle there on hand, just out a shot. And you can come on the live stream on the vPub. I'll talk about how I would share the link in a second. You would come on the vPub and you would say, yes, I'm answering. And I would say, okay, we'd start the timer and the countdown, and I've got 10 questions in 3 minutes. Now, if I guess it correctly, the person who's come on the stream, the challenger, if you like, they then have to buy a dram. The forfeit is that they have to send a dram to the first person in the chat that guessed it correctly as well. So there's no gift comes to me. It's not for prizes for me. If I guess it correctly, that's what they're doing. If I fail, however, or if it's flipped around the other way and they are the winner, I have to give the dram. Or alternatively, I may choose, especially during these times where I can ship these as large letters, it turns out. I only discovered that recently. I can ship a coin instead of a dram. So it'll either be a dram or a coin. And again, it goes to not the challenger, but the person in the chat. So there's no way to come on and win a prize for yourself. You're winning a prize for the community. And that kind of helps because the community are still interactive. They're still playing along. Oftentimes that'll connect to community because somebody has to send a dram or something to somebody else. And it's just a kind of nice way of getting that interaction going. It will be brutal. It won't be a way for me to kind of get to know you on a vPub. You'll come in, say, what's your name? Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Are you asking or are you answering? And then we just go, we hit the thing. What do you think of that? Do you think that's going to work or not? Whiskey Crusaders is saying, hey, Roy. Hey, Matt. It's probably Matt. Maybe it's Will or Sarah. Good to see you and good to have you in. Whiskey Women, Stuart is saying, good idea. I think that Stuart had mentioned to me on a direct message that he had some kind of similar idea that he's developing for his own channel as well, something a bit more interactive. Petehead is saying, fun idea. Gets a skipper size. Sounds like a fun idea. Well, I think rather than me explaining it, it might be better to just try and play it out. So what I did is I reached out to moderators, and I'm going to be relying heavily on moderators because they need to be the ones that are monitoring the chat and making sure it's in order and looking out for the first person that gets the correct whiskey name. So it's going to be quite tricky to manage. But, you know, it's all a bit of fun. And if we make mistakes, if we trip ourselves up, if it gets a bit silly sometimes, hopefully nobody's going to judge us too much. That's the idea anyway. And I'm going to try it tonight. There's no way for me to, I've not formed exactly how I'm going to share the link for people to drop in, because it is dangerous. I'm giving you, everybody, the link to come into the broadcast. And there are risks associated with that. So of course, maybe in the first few trials, what I'll do is it'll just be inside Patreon or something. And then if it works well, we'll find another way to curate a list of people that are willing to participate, an email list, a shared Google spreadsheet. Perhaps it'll end up in the Facebook Barflies page or something like that. But it'll all depend on how interactive it is. And if I put it out there, say, yeah, let's play this game, and nobody appears, there's not going to be much fun in that, right? So there has to be a challenger on hand. I do have challengers tonight, so we're going to give it a wee try tonight. Let's have a quick look at the chat before I bring in the first one. Current core range. Okay, we're not going to get completely pedantic. So if somebody had a Glengoyne 15, for example, that's been discontinued very recently. But if somebody had a Glengoyne 15, we're not going to argue, oh, you know, that's been discontinued, that's not core range. It's within reason. Let's just apply a bit of rational intelligence to this thing. And if it gets serious that it's going to pull a lot of negative pedantry into the discussion, into the discourse, then it's probably not going to be a fun thing. Everything about the vPub, everything about the quiz at the end, it doesn't touch the quiz at the end. That's sacrosanct. That'll always be there. It's all about being fun. And if we make mistakes and things in there, it's all okay. Lee J. Brown is saying, sounds great, Roy. Arnie Tiger is saying it seems fun, do it. Arbaggy is saying Evening Roy sounds like a fun-filled evening. And good luck, challengers. Good luck, Roy. Whisky Novice, Jim. So I imagine fully that it'd be people like Jim will be coming in and choosing to whether they answer questions, which will be the most common choice, and I'll be the one that's trying to determine what the whiskey is, or whether they ask the questions, which will be trickier. Wonderful and fun idea. Okay, let's give it a try then. Let's see if we can make it work. The first thing I'm going to do is move the chat over a wee bit. I've suddenly got lots of real estate to try and move around to do this. And in time, I think I'll find a way to run things a bit smoother and a bit better. So if it's clunky tonight, bear with me, forgive me a wee bit. And you'll see I've got four moderators. You know their names. They're behind the scenes just now. And they're going to help me attempt to run this. Okay, let's bring in the person who's sitting first here. This is the first time any of you have seen this guy's face. Alistair Gray, how are you, my friend?
Good evening, guys. How's everyone?
Fantastic. Good to see you, Alistair. This is the first time that we've actually seen each other. Are you asking or are you answering?
I'm going to answer. I've got a whiskey here that I've had for a long time, but we'll see how you get on.
Okay, so it's on my shoulders to try and guess what the question is. In 3 minutes, I've got a timer on my phone here to set a timer. This will be the thing I need to remember to count down the questions and the timer at the same time. But let's see. I'm going to wish myself good luck, Alistair, if that's okay. First time ever. It's good to have you on participating. Okay, I've started the timer. Is it a Speyside, Alistair?
No.
It's not a Speyside. Okay, that's kind of good. Is it a Highland?
No.
Is it a Lowland?
No.
Oh, no. Is it Campbelltown?
No.
So what have I asked? What's left? Highland, Speyside, Campbelltown, Lowland. Is it an Islay?
Yes.
Okay, it's an Islay. Is the ABV lower than 46%? 46 or lower?
No.
Oh. Is there an age statement on it?
Yes.
Is it Lagavulin 8?
No.
Oh. Is it an Ardbeg?
No.
Oh my goodness. Is it a Lefroy?
No.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, I'm on my last question here. What, I've got plenty of time left, 1 minute, 50 seconds left. Okay, so we are on an age-stated Isla above 40, oh, it could be 46. So above 46%, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And its core range. Is it classic laddie, 50%?
No.
Oh,
Very close.
okay, I failed on that one. You, my goodness. Oh, the laddie 8.
So close. Bang on.
I almost got it. I almost pulled it out the fire. See if I'd have just said, okay, 8-year-old classic laddie, well done. Cancel the timer. A minute left. What a failure. What a failure to start with. Alistair, thanks very much. I guess the moderators, I hope, will be able to tell me who's the first person in the chat to write down laddie 8-year-old or the laddie 8. And whoever that is, even if it's after the announcement, even if it's after, whoever's first in there, I'll be sending them either a coin. It's probably going to be a coin. Coin laddie 8. Now, the great thing is that I'll be able to go in after the event and I'll be able to look at the chat myself, so it's not all on the moderator's shoulders. Alistair, wonderful to have your participation. Maybe I'll have you on in the future and we'll be able to hang out a wee bit longer. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Stay safe, guys.
I cut him off there just as he was raising his glass. Apologies, Alistair. So there we go. The first ever time that we've tried the blind in 10, I failed. I got so close, so close. Whisky Novice is saying FFS, Roy. Okay, I'm going to pull in the second guy now. And I'm going to roll. Now, you've seen this guy before. He's very familiar, has been involved in the channel for a long time. It's a pleasure to pull him in again. Doc McCallan, fine and rare, over in Germany. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, Roy. How are you?
Well, it depends on what you've got for me, right? So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull in our countdown here, and I'm going to start the timer at 3 minutes. Oh, I should ask, are you asking or are you answering?
You know what? I will try to ask this time, so you can take revenge.
Okay, so I'm going to have here, I'll just put it out a shot. I've got a bottle here, ready, prepared. Very brave of you, Doc. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'll be trying to count down as we go. I'm going to start the timer now.
Is it the northern half of Scotland?
No.
Is it the western half of Scotland?
Yes.
Is it Islay?
No.
Is it Highlands?
Yes.
Is it a Diageo distillery?
No. This is much better.
What do you mean much better? Okay.
Answering is much better.
Answering is much easier. I know. So we had southern part, Highlands.
Western. Yep. Highland.
Western, right?
South. Well, only Western, not as in Western Highlands, but Western as in, I'm giving you more than yes or no. Western as in it's to the left-hand side of the center of the line.
Exactly. That was the idea. Is it in the proximity of Glasgow?
Yes.
Has it been covered recently in a vPub?
Yes.
Is it Loch Lomond?
Yes.
Is it Loch Lomond 12?
Yes. I can't have contestants coming on and being better at it than me. It'll get trashed. It won't last. It won't endure.
Wait a second, Roy. Here comes the joke of the day. Guess what I had prepared for you?
And Loch Lomond 12. Fantastic. Superb. I don't know if I would have got it the other way around. I don't know, because it's a curious one that we often forget about, especially where its location is and things like that. Doc, fantastic. Superb. So that's me sending out something else.
So just for a second, I have to take a phone call.
You can go now, my friend. You can go. That's just too funny. Too funny. So there you go. It's easy to take prizes from me, whether you're asking or answering. You're going to be able to succeed. Superb. We've got 2 more participants. I hope that this is timely. I hope this is good fun. I'm going to reach out to who do we have? From a friend across the Atlantic, actually. I'm reaching out to Mr. Steve Anderson. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Yourself?
Yes, I'm doing very well. It's good to see your face. I did comment on your extra face furniture a wee bit earlier, but you're still as handsome as ever. Good to see you wearing the t-shirt as well. Good to have you in here. I have to ask you, Steve, are you asking? Oh, that's from the last time. Are you asking or are you answering?
I am going to answer.
Good for you. So you have a whiskey on hand?
I do.
Excellent. Okay. The only permitted answers then are yes or no, and I'm starting the timer now. Okay, I'm going to take the Doc's lead, and I'm going to say, no, I'm just going to stick to regions. Is it a Speyside?
No.
Is it a Highland?
No.
A Lowland?
Yes.
Oh, it's a Lowland. Wow, fantastic. Okay. Would you happen to know if it's in the west or the east? I would say, is it in the west?
I'd have to look at a map. I didn't realize there was a west or east of the lowlands.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll ask a different question.
Yeah.
Okay. There aren't many mature lowland distilleries. So let's just go for it. Is it an Auchentoshan?
It is.
Yes. Okay. It's got to be core range. It's going to be 43% if you're buying it in the States, I would guess. Is there an age statement?
Yes.
Is it Auchentoshan 12?
No.
Is it Auchentoshan 21?
No.
Is it Auchentoshan 18?
It is.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. So that means, Steve, that I have beaten you.
You have.
Are you okay to send a dram out to the first person in the chat that mentioned Auchentoshan 18?
Yeah, that would be P-Dram. I was
P-Dram. You're able to multitask. You're a demon at it. Steve, thanks for all your support. Thanks for participating today. And well done, my friend. Thank you so much. Well done. Finally, well, saving the best till last, not a moderator, but a family member, cousin Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
I'm not bad. Just don't laugh at my hair, and we'll be all right.
Well, I think your hair's in better shape than if you'd tried a home haircut. I think that's the trend that's going about just now. Everybody's home haircuts. Are you ready to participate?
I am. Yes, I am.
Are you asking or are you answering?
I'm going to ask.
You're going to ask. Fantastic. Okay. Let's cancel that. So I have to have a whiskey at hand. This is brilliant. I have a whiskey at hand. I hope you didn't see that. I think I brought the cork into vision there. Okay, I'm going to start the timer now, my friend. Ask away.
Is it a Speyside?
No.
No. Is it a Highland?
Yes.
Has it got an age statement?
No.
Is it a Highland that's not on the mainland? So is it not on the mainland Highlands? Is it an island on the?
No, it's on the mainland. No.
On the mainland. Damn it, it's a bad question.
No, it's good. If it's an island, it would have been a good question.
Yeah,
but it's on the mainland.
Is it a new distillery?
Malt Monk is saying, let's go, Kev. It is not a new distillery.
a not new distillery. Is it a Northern Highland?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm giving you quite a clue in the way that I've expressed the yes there. 1 minute 46 left.
Is it Japanese owned?
Yes.
Is it a Ben Nevis?
No.
Next door. What's close to that? Does Dalwhinnie?
No.
Oh no!
I think he's going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Is it a Tomatin?
Yes.
Oh no! So have I got one question left?
You've got one question left.
Right, so it's the Tomatin. Is it above 46%?
Yes, but that's your last question gone.
Is it the Tomatin? Is it the cask strength PX?
It's Tomatin cask strength.
I said PX, but Tomatin cask strength.
But you'd already used up all your questions anyway, buddy. You'd used up your last one. So close. See, when you said, is it Japanese owned? I thought he's nailed it. He's nailed it. And then you went for, you're absolutely right. Nika owns
You're
Ben.
wrong. Yeah.
But of course, Uzo owns Tomatin. Well done.
Close proximity.
Well done. So close. Are you quite happy to send out a dram to the first person to say Tomatin cask strength?
I am. So I'll have a wee look through and see who's there.
That's all right. We'll keep each other straight, my friend. Thank you so much.
No problem.
For being brave enough. For being brave enough to ask as well. See you soon. Cheers. Cheers, Kevin. So there we go. That was the dry run of Blind in 10. 4 participants it was tonight. You can feed back to me. Do you think it's going to work? Kill this timer. Do you think it's going to work? Do you think that we could do with having more than 10 questions? I think it kind of felt like it worked okay there. Billy Saunders is saying he enjoyed. Richard Agnew is saying, yes, this format is a keeper. Kevin Grant is saying, damn it, I thought I had it. He's fast on the emojis. Chris B, it looks like, has been a winner. Alistair Gray is congratulating Chris B. Fantastic stuff. Whiskey Jason is saying, Chris B. Whiskey Jason is in the chat tonight as well, helping us out. Superb, Jason. Fantastic. Maybe, Jason, we'll have you on here participating. So this format, if it worked and if you liked it, Scotch Down Under is saying that went well. Whiskey Novice is saying loved it. The wife is getting involved in everything there. Gexter Skipper is saying went really well, was brilliant, very nice idea. Lee Kerwin, that was brilliant. That was awesome. Whiskey Crusaders. Yes, it's a fun one. 10 questions are sharp, just enough. Daniel Vermaas, thank you for your wisdom. Malt Punk, great idea, great format. Our Baggy is predicting banana skins all over the place. The idea here would don't appear on here as a challenger with an obscure whiskey. It has to be fair play. It has to be fair game. It has to be something that's core range, that's recognizable, available in most markets so that everybody can participate and play the game. So you're not just trying to catch me out, you're actively trying to involve the community as well. And the really lovely thing, I think, is that they are part of the game. They can still play, even although they're not appearing. They can appear if they want. They're still participating in the game. And oftentimes it'll be, if I win, I'm able to connect some of the community who's got to send a dram to each other. The caveat, and it's a huge caveat, do not send a dram to anybody you don't know. Please connect with them first. Connect with them on social media. Connect with them on email. Get to know them first and understand fully that if you choose to participate in this, it's the exact same as if you were sharing a dram with anybody else in the wider whiskey community. There's a certain amount of responsibility that comes with that, and you need to take responsibility. If you can't take responsibility, if you cannot verify that that person is in a place that it's legal to ship whiskey to, of the right age, if you're nervous at all, I'll step up and I'll send them a coin instead. So just stay in touch and we'll make sure that it's managed and everybody's happy and it stays fun and in the spirit of how it was intended. Bill Balistreri. Okay, I'm going to try your name properly. Bill Balistreri. Balistreri. Bill, I hope I've got it right, my friend. He's saying, love this. Chris B is saying, brilliant idea. Would love to participate sometime too. So, Chris, you're going to be able to participate inside Patreon. So what I'll do before I kind of find any way to kind of publicly give me a thumbs up, like the video down below. If you like this idea, if you want to see it endure, give me a thumbs up down below. Obviously comment under the video as well. Give us feedback that it's something that could be a bit of fun, a bit of a distraction. And we might just run it during these extended opening vPubs for as long as the extended opening is going to continue. And then if it's something that I feel is running quite slick and I'm comfortable with, we could roll it into becoming a fairly regular thing in the regular vPubs where I don't have a guest. I hope that my participants tonight are comfortable in the green room, in the background here, and if they want, they can stay and they can participate in the quiz tonight live. If they so choose, it's completely optional. And then stay after it's been killed for a bit of a debrief and a thank you off air. And but thanks to everybody who participated tonight. I feel like I got away with it tonight. I feel like it went okay. I wish I'd done a wee bit better, of course. And Jimmy Legg is saying, can I have 20 questions, please? And he's using the new emojis that are available to the barflies. I've added a 10 out of 10. It looks like a little speed limit sign. A 10 out of 10 for the quiz. And that I love whiskey heart, a heart-shaped emoji with whiskey written in the middle. Vaguely the color of the whiskey spectrum. That's a couple of new emojis I added. Kevin Grant is saying, I was hoping to win that and become famous and trade a coin for a haircut. Kevin, I would kill for your hair, honestly, my friend. I don't care what condition it came in. And Espen has bought me a dram from Norway saying, great idea, Roy. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm going to reach into my sample box in a second. This is my box of samples sent to me by the community. When we talk about responsible drinking, if I was drinking these at the rate that they came in, I would probably be in a bit of trouble. But I do like to share them. I do like to drink them, especially when I get a quiet moment. There's a good one. A Signatory Vintage Glen Elgin 10 from a hogshead from 2015. This is from Rico Donert. Fantastic. And he sent it in Christmas 2019. I should be pouring it. I should be doing this blind, but what I'm trying to make sure I do is pick out ones from the community. We have here a Balblair 11-year-old hand bottling, single cask. I recognize this labeling. I recognize this is a Ebhead bottling. This is a Balblair 11-year-old hand bottling. So from the distillery, distilled 2016 and bottled in 2018 at cask strength. So these are two peachy picks, I think, from the community box tonight. Triquetra is doing the same thing as me right now, Stuart. He's got the upside down Glencairn emoji saying his glass is dry. What next? Or perhaps he's commenting on the fact that my glass is dry. What next? So I'm going to, what's the lowest ABV of these two? 46%, or that one's the Balblair's cask strength. So I'm going to attempt to get into Rico's tape, his sealing tape here, and pour myself a Glen Elgin. I do like a Glen Elgin. It can often be very, very creamy to my palate from a hogshead especially. Still no mullet emoji, Helen is saying. That's right. Maybe when the mullet is a bit more full, Helen, what do you think? Perhaps I'll go for the emoji then. Simon Ray saying, nice idea. Thought it worked well. Thank you, Simon. Lee Kerwin is saying, how do I get the emojis as I am already a Patreon member? Lee, thank you so much for your Patreon support. They are not connected in any way. YouTube and Patreon don't speak to each other. There's no way to do it. That's why the emojis are so low. They're priced very, very low at £1.99 a month. If you're a patron, I understand completely, and it's not meant in any way to compete with Patreon. It's just a low kind of £1.99, $1.99, €1.99, wherever it is that you are a month, and you press the join button down below. If you find that you don't really want to get involved or you're not having much fun out of it, you can cancel at any time. There's no contract or anything. It's just meant as a wee bit of fun. But thank you for asking. Thank you for helping me point it out. Jimmy Legg is saying a tuft emoji would be fun, but difficult to recognize. Yeah, and the tuft is leaving as well, Jimmy. It's I think it's on its way out as well, like the rest of my hair. Unfortunately, Malt Monk Justin is saying, smashing your cousin. No shame, Roy. Haha, great concept. He's big enough and ugly enough to take it. No problem. Whiskey Novice is saying, I have to say it was brave for Kevin to step up and say, and he nearly got it. He was so, so close, especially when he said Japanese. I thought he'd nailed it. What about I've gone for a P emoji? Needed commercial breaks. I like a quig emoji. I don't know how Foodquig would feel about that. I don't think I would do it to embarrass him. Lindsay has just saying, welcome. He's just joined the Aquavite Barflies. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for joining. And I hope you have a wee bit of fun with it. Lee Hosey out at Haddington Whisky. Good to see you, Lee. Go for the Joe Exotic mullet. I heard recently that the Tiger King has instantly become one of the most viewed streamed services ever. I did watch it. I found it fascinating, but it didn't fill me full of hope for the human condition. But it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I don't doubt for a second that there's going to be a Tiger King 2. There's more of that story to tell, right? And Jimmy Legg is, oh, that's gorgeous. That's like Clynelish. It's very waxy, very creamy. Lovely, delicate white fruit. Ever so slightly aromatic, like a nice, almost like what's the kind of melon? What's the green melon? Gallia melon, I think it's called something else in the States. Oh, that's a beautiful dram. Wow. Signatory vintage. So this is from the Unchill Filtered collection. It's not the flask. It's from the narrow bottle, 46% Unchill Filtered. Not, could finish a bit better, honestly. Goes a little bit saccharine, sweet. But wow, that's a lovely dram. That's a lovely dram. Thank you, Rico. Thank you. Skogsmad is saying you've chosen a good camera angle for your setup. Looks like you have more hair when looking into the camera. Absolutely. I don't kind of be wanting to look down too much, right? And with the kids, from their perspective, they're often surprised when they see daddy's head from the top. Thanks, Skogsmar. Thanks for pointing it out. Thanks for making me feel even more self-conscious when I go out to the public live streams. Finally done. That looks like a new name, saying Aquavite. Go for the Skullet, Roy. The Skullet. Is that just a everything off? I have threatened it. It's not going to be popular with the family, but I could maybe negotiate that if I got rid of the beard, would it be okay for me to get rid of the hair as well? But I'm not sure I have the head shape for it. Nick Keane is saying the wife let out a squeak when she saw your comment on her barfly's photo. Slancheva, my friend. That was the, Penny Keane took a solid block of wood and carved the Ardbeg logo out of it perfectly. And then she put a picture. It's only taken her a few days to do it. I remember her setting up to do it, and then she posted the final picture of it in Aquavite Barflies group recently. And I thought, that's fabulous. It's almost like a big solid block of hardwood that you could flip over and use as a nice cutting board or a cheese board or something, but it's quite thick. I was really impressed by it. So Penny's obviously letting her creative juices run wild during lockdown. I thought it was fabulous, Penny. Well done. Bud Jenkins is in and he's bought me a dram. Bud, I wasn't expecting to see you tonight. Buying you a dram since it's hard to mail you one from the US right now. Thanks for all you're doing. Thank you, Bud. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for participating here, especially when it's so early where you are, my friend. Thank you. Slancheva. Jimmy Legacy, looking down is the greatest look for you. Thank you, Jimmy, for refilling the confidence bank a wee bit again. Whiskey Wim Stewart is saying you would need to keep the beard if you buzz the hair. Stuart, I think you're right. So it's not going to go down well because that's the exact opposite of what the family want. I think my wife wants clean shaven, but she wants me to keep the hair. I think the kids have become ambivalent, honestly. Anyway, why am I still talking about that? Russell has also joined Aquavite Barflies. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome, and thanks for your support. I hope you have a wee bit of fun with it. Graham Young is here, Aquavite. I'm just old enough that I'm holding on to the hair, even horridly flawed. It's better than the buzz defeat. I'm so glad you're here, Graham. Graham is in healthcare. He's frontline healthcare right now. I don't know if he's frontline with the C word, but he's still and very much involved in healthcare. I think it's mindful to take an opportunity to raise a wee glass to people like Graham, to everybody that's out there fighting this thing on our behalfs, for on everybody's behalf. And also remember all the people that aren't perhaps frontline healthcare, but still are getting up and going to work every day because they have a job that's deemed important or essential. I'd like to raise a glass to all of you and know from my heart that I very, very much appreciate it. And I think about you every single day. I'm in a privileged position, and it's thanks to you that I'm able to be comfortable in that position. Thank you very much for your support, and cheers to you, Graham. Wonderful to have you in. Sláinte, my friend. Jimmy Legacy, your hair is the second best thing we discuss here. I'll accept that as long as the first is whiskey. P. Dram, welcome into Aquavite Barflies. Hope you can access your fun emojis. I added a couple more recently. Please feed back to me and tell me as seriously as you can possibly muster what other emojis that you can that you would like to see added in time that could somehow colour and affect and light up the chat a wee bit better. As more people join the carrot on the end of the YouTube stick is that they will open up more emoji spaces for me, and I can design and add in more custom emojis. The guys over at Scotch for Dummies have also just done the same thing. They've opened up a YouTube membership, so they're thinking about doing it. We've shared, they're going to give me their access to their artwork, and I've shared some of my artwork to them, the Glen Cairns and things like that. So you'll be able to kind of use the same artwork, and hopefully they use the same names and things for it to cut down on confusion when you join in and participate in different streams. Scotch for Dummies tend to go out on a Thursday night, but I think tonight, and I'm quickly checking inside my Twitter messages to see if the Malted Man Cave has responded. He's saying, we are doing live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern, a live review of Lefroy 10 cast strength, the Peach of a Dram, and then Dave is being tested in a bourbon blind challenge at the end. That's Malted Man Cave over on his channel. I don't know why that guy doesn't have more subs. I love watching Keith. I love Keith's passion. I love his knowledge. I love the fact that he's taken his friend Dave. He's like, I always refer to Dave as Keith's Padawan. And Dave has got lots and lots of really insightful, accurate, succinct, astute things to contribute. And I think that it's just a very, very organic, passionate thing that they're presenting there. And I always look at Keith's content and think, why hasn't somebody like that got more subs? But he's doing a live stream tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be, I guess, a bit late for us. So what's that, 2 a.m. UK time, 3 a.m. European time? But you'll be able to catch it in the replay. And if you're on a time zone that you can catch it live, go along and say hello to Keith and Dave. Tell them Aquavite sent you. You'll give them a tickle. You'll enjoy that. I'm really looking forward to the day that I can raise a glass with Keith and Dave, wherever that may be. Simon Ray is right. He's got his NWA icon as well, Nottingham Whisky Association. Or is it Academy? I'm only kidding, Simon. He's saying an ass hat emoji. That could become a thing if the ass hat expression endures. For ass hat tends to refer to the horrible questions that have gone beyond banana skin in the quiz, things where I'm being deliberately awkward. That's when the ass hat emoji in the quiz would become appropriate. Let's see. Daniel Vermaas is saying, when will there be a co-op with Keith, Malted Man Cave? He's the dude. I agree, Daniel. He's a lovely guy. I had him on here for a celebration of 2019. He came on and we hung out for a while. But if there's an appetite to have Keith on, I'd have him on in a heartbeat. And the two of us could sit and shoot the shit about whiskey for a long, long time. He's a great guy, especially actually when these extended openings are happening. I think it would be easier for him to join on a Sunday just because of the time zone difference. By all means, Daniel, suggest it to Keith, and I'll keep in touch with him in the background as well and say that there's a demand for him to join me on a vPub. Daniel has already said I'll ask Keith. Greg's Whiskey Guide is in. Good to see you, Greg. He's saying Keith. Marcus Kreitner is in as well. Good to see you, Marcus. Mark Slinger is saying loves Keith's channel. Good. I'm glad that there's a huge overlap, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys are appreciating what he does and puts out as well. Hoyt Hempel is saying recycle bin. I have one, Hoyt. There's one there. Bottle kill. Whiskey Wims is saying maybe add a wee recycle bin. It's definitely there, Stuart. Joining late, sorry, but on time for the quiz. I even made the recycle bin purple in keeping with the actual recycle bin. It would have been a lovely day to shoot the recycled review. It was a lovely sunny day. I didn't. I'll get round to it. It will happen. I hope to get it out in April. It might slip into early May, but there's one on its way soon. There are almost 15 empty bottles. There's a few wee drams left in the bottom of a few. But the next recycle review is very, very close as well. It's probably one of the most common questions I'm asked. When is the next recycled review? Well, it's wonderful to have those questions being asked as well. Eric is saying he can't wait. And Cresemere saying, well, Keith was in earlier on. I've no doubt he was. I'm sorry I missed him as well. Fantastic. So it looks like on the face of it that you guys are comfortable and seem to quite enjoy that kind of game show element. I think it was good fun. I think it was, I'm not sure I could do it every time. Maybe I could. Maybe I'll find a way to do it easy and slickly and cut down on the admin. Didn't? Is that a word? Aye, Jimmy. You didn't know that? Eric Evanson is heels, please. He's saying, Eric, there's a good chance that I won't do a heels giveaway for the next recycled review. The channel's getting quite big now, and I don't want to attract negativity. And I think that me offering alcohol giveaways willy-nilly on pre-recorded content, I think it's you can get away with it dram by dram on live streams. But I think I may need to reconsider how I'm doing it for the recycled reviews. And what's happening is that I get comments every day, all the time, people saying heels please, heels please, heels please, on recycled reviews that are a year old. So people think that they're watching the content and they just assume that it's an immediate that's gone out, but it's not. It's quite an old video. So there's a few reasons that I maybe need to rethink and maybe just work out how to. I still want to share what's left in the bottles with people, but it might be something that I try to do inside the Barflies group, or I'm reluctant because it feels like I'm pushing people towards the Facebook group, and I'm really not. There's no benefit to that for me. But I have to kind of try and shrink it down a bit. And I think Facebook even would have problems with me doing it. So that would be difficult. I know Patreon has problems with me running giveaways inside Patreon, but it's not to say we can't figure out ways to do it. Because the channel is firmly founded on sharing whiskey. Of course, that means sharing knowledge, sharing enthusiasm and passion for whiskey, insight, welcoming, everything, but finding ways to legally and responsibly share the liquid as well. Sorry that it has to get dull and responsible and preachy, but it just has to. It's just the way it is. Jimmy Legg is saying he didn't know that. Learning is so much fun. Yes, it's Scots is didn't. Scots for didn't is often didn't. Rossford is saying perhaps alternate between 10 and the quiz. If I gave up that quiz, Ross, there would be mutiny. There are a lot of people that don't enjoy the quiz and they just tune out. They disappear. They don't participate. Some people do it quietly. They don't actively participate, but they do it. You're just challenging themselves on the quiet as a lurker kind of thing. And I encourage all of that. But the people that stay here for the quiz, if I suddenly said, sorry, there's no quiz tonight, I know what would happen. I would get a lot of huffs. Eric Evans is saying, it's okay, buddy. We love seeing you and hearing the accent. Pete Head is saying, combine the game with the recycled reviews heels. Lee Cameron is saying, just looking on your YouTube channel and in the About section, it says you have just under 1 million views since you started. Is that correct? Wow. Lee, I don't even pay attention to that. I know you'll hear those words and think, it's nonsense, he must. I don't. McAllen Fine and Rare, the doc, sent me a congratulatory message to say that I'd passed 12k subscribers, and I had no idea that I'd passed 12k. And it's not because I don't, it's not because I'm ambivalent, it's not because I don't care. It's just that the far more important thing for me is this. If I had 120,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and I had this, everything would be fine. If I had 1,000 subscribers in this, it would be fine. It's not the size of the audience, it's how connected and interactive they are. And I know that that's nonsense to some ears, but most people will get it. Most people will understand. It's how connected and how interactive we are. And that's just numbers. Subscribers is just numbers. And so many of them are casual subscribers or ghosts, people that subscribed and consumed it once and now they're gone. And so it's really difficult. Subscribers is often a measure of how long you've been going as opposed to how popular you are. So I do pay attention to the subscribers. It's amazing that I've got 12,000, but I honestly didn't know that I'd tripped 12,000. It was the doc that told me. And if you tell me I'm close to 1 million views, that is wow, that's amazing. 1 million people will have watched and had to endure this accent. Graham Fraser is saying, can you do a Scott Bruno recycled review spoof, please? So that would be quite interesting. Spoofing the spoof, parodying the parody. I don't think I could pull it off. I don't think I could act the way that Scott acted that day. Skogsmart is saying, perhaps do the heels as prizes in some way on the live streams. I think that it would be a solution. Maybe give that a bit of thought. Whenever the recycled review went out, you kind of want one of the following or nearby vPubs do the giveaway. Baggy is saying, we're not here for you to give us whiskey. We drink plenty of the stuff without, so don't worry about it and promote drinking responsibly. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just looking down here. Somebody just appeared. Somebody had dropped out and come back in again. Malted Man Cave is in, and he said, thanks for the kind words, Roy. You're very welcome, Keith. You're being bullied to attending a vPub. It'd be nice to have you on again, my friend. I hope you're keeping well and hope everything's good over there in Ohio. My browser is saying you have 972,121 views right now. Well done. Thank you so much, Skogsmart. Daniel is saying quality before quantity. It's the only way I know how to manage it, honestly, Daniel. Royale is saying 12,000. Wow, think of all the whiskey love you're inspiring. It's difficult to get my head around. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be in a position to share. It truly is. Finally, then it's saying I always play the quiz alone and enjoy it. Damn, seems like the rest of my life. No. Hang out here, finally done. And you need never participate in a quiz alone, and you need never drink alone. Whisky Novice is saying 10 folk in this community are worth 10,000 and many others. Jim, that's a wonderful sentiment, and I agree exactly what you're talking about. Whisky Crusaders is saying congrats on 12K. Thank you, Matt, Will, and Sarah. Since I don't know which one of you are tuning in tonight, I'm going to assume it's Matt, of course, but thank you. Jude Roman is in, saying, Aquaviti, love your chats. Keep up the evangelism. Thank you, Jude Roman, and welcome in. Tell us where you are. Tell us what you're sipping. Hang out and let the barflies know who you are. Alec Bartz is in tonight as well. Good to see you, as well as Kresimir. And Gino, my friend Gino, how are you? Oops, chat jumps. Rico is saying, as a Patreon, I pay you to get demolished. So don't stop the quiz. I know better than to not. The quiz has to endure. Even when it's difficult for me to find these questions, to find more inspiration for questions every week, and something just now it's twice a week, right? It's difficult, which is why I'm reaching out to the community and I'm sucking questions in from the community as well. I had a wonderful quiz from Stefan Novak. He sent me a quiz inside Patreon and I answered and sent back to him. I'll admit that 80% of the things he asked me I was guessing, but I did very, very well and I scored highly at it despite the guesswork. And I think there's going to be questions in there that I'll be able to just check the sources and double check them and at least draw inspiration from those. There's been great quiz questions sent to me from the community directly, from McAllen, Fine and Rare, from Menno, from I'm going to struggle to remember all the people that have been sending questions. Skogsmard recently as well. And if you send me those, that's the thing. If you score 10 out of 10 on an Aquavite quiz, you're able to contribute quiz questions, or at least attempt, I might not be able to use all the questions you send me because I've used them or something very similar in the past, but I might be able to use them in some kind of more inspired way. Just use the content to think of another question. So we're getting on a wee bit. I want to keep it neat tonight. School, back to school tomorrow, school as in home teaching. So I'm up early in the morning, so I'm going to try and keep it a wee bit neat tonight. So let's put the wheels on the quiz and see what we can do. The Whisky Rev, Graham, has just joined in and said, hi, folks. Graham, you've missed all the shenanigans. And the dry run that we had doing the kind of game show thing the other night, I tried it out earlier tonight, and it seems to have gone down really well. And it looks like folk are keen for me to keep doing it. So I just need to work out how to share the link, how to find out that people would be genuinely willing to participate, because I think I'm leveraging that idea that people are in front of their webcams and their mics just now anyway, because they're working from home, because they're reaching out to their family through virtual means like this. The man and every man in the world and his dog are meeting in virtual environments right now. So there's more people getting more comfortable with that setup. Andrew Butler is here saying, did you get my question? I haven't had a reply to my email. Andrew, there's no doubt I have it. I'm desperately behind on emails. I'm caught up with all the merchandise and things. If you've sent an email in the last few days, I might have not got to it yet, and I'm behind on samples. But over the course of the next few days, I'll catch up on both. It is tough right now, but I apologise, and I just thank everyone for their patience. Again, one of the things of having the bigger subscriber base is that there's more weight of direct messages and emails and things to get through. People sometimes have to wait a wee bit longer than they did in the past, but I always get to it. So please, Andrew, thanks for your patience, and I will get to you, my friend. Graham Fraser is saying, wouldn't it be great to have an Aquavita gathering in Glasgow periodically? They were already happening, Graham. There's been a few in Glasgow. There was going to be a big one in Germany this year, where there was going to be one in Isla. And at the end of the year, it's looking like maybe it could still happen, but nothing's happened around the Glasgow Festival. So it would be good to try and time it around that period of time when people are coming in for the Glasgow Festival anyway, and try and have a gathering on or around that weekend. And I have to say, when they happen, they're wonderful. They're just great fun. Whisky obviously saying, damn it, Roy, you had to remind us that school's back the morra. It is, Jim. Unfortunately, it very much is. And I'm no a very good teacher, I have to tell you. Scotch Down Under is saying, it's already 6 a.m. in the morning here. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're comfy in bed with a cup of tea and not a dram. Eric Evans is saying, we all see that this is more of a hobby for you and you share general interest in whiskey. It's about your love and passion. I think if the passion was ever to subside, I think you would all see it, you would smell it, you would taste it. It has to be something that you really enjoy, to keep being creative, to keep bringing energy and enjoyment. And Whisky Novice is in Ulster Scots, maybe. No, me neither. It's hard to be a good teacher with your own children. It really is. It requires depths of patience that are beyond me, I'm afraid. But we do our best. And I have to say, you can't put too much pressure on the kids. They're in a difficult, bizarre environment just now and sitting at the dining room table to learn schoolwork. Talking about study, let's get the quiz. And I see that Steve A is still hanging out with me. I see that Kevin is hanging out with me as well. If you guys are good to come in and participate in the quiz, give me a thumbs up. You'd be very welcome to come in and join me. Cousin Kevin, Steve A. So it seems like that the folk were quite happy with our wee game show experiment earlier on.
Except me.
That certainly looked like it.
Yes. Well, there has to be... Kevin, I think that you just did it so that you could give me a win, honestly.
I would go with that. I like that. I like that answer. Yeah.
Your generosity is something to behold, honestly. Thank you so much. Right, boys, you ready to participate in the quiz?
Yes.
You know how I always tell you it's an easy quiz, don't I?
Right.
Lies.
Tonight's
Always
not.
lies.
It's not a very easy quiz tonight.
You just come right out and say it isn't. Okay.
Right. So, but then it's only my interpretation. It's only my perspective of it. I bet you there's 10 out of 10s tonight. I bet you folk are do quite well. You only know if you know, so they say. So let's see if I can get this screen.
Thanks, Jimmy.
What will happen if I do that? Uh-oh, what's happened? I thought it froze there. If it froze there for a second, it did on my side. It looks like it's working. So the quiz at the end, it's always here. It's multiple choice. You get 3 options for each question. I have to be honest. The quiz at the end is kind of angled a wee bit more towards whiskey enthusiasts, whiskey geeks maybe. And I am a wee bit nervous that I didn't put enough of the comfortable questions in tonight. But we'll give it a go and see how you got on anyway. The pass mark is usually only 5 out of 10. There's 10 questions. If you hit 5 out of 10, you're doing quite well. But tonight I'm going to suggest that you have to beat Kevin and Steve. That's your pass mark tonight. You can do victory laps of the room and you can use all the emojis you like if you're able to beat our Kevin and our Steve tonight. So we'll get this quiz underway. See how many screens I'm running. Try and keep this chat up. Thank you all so much for your thumbs up. It's wonderful to have that encouragement. Thank you. Okay, Whiskey Jason is in, so I know I'm going to have somebody give me visual cues, but we'll roll into question 1 and ask, which of these distilleries suffered closure during the 1990s? Now, I'm opening with a White and Mackay question. I'm going to give you 3 White and Mackay distilleries and ask which one of these closed in the 1990s. I believe it was from 95 to 2000. Was it A, Fetter Cairn, B, Dalmore, or C, Tamnavulin? Jimmy Legg is predicting he's going to score 10 out of 10 tonight. Jimmy, I have to say you're a knowledgeable fellow, but you might struggle tonight. This is a wee bit of a banana skin to start with, I think. Lots of guesses coming in. Lots of people seem to think it could be Tamnavulin. Lots of people saying C. What about you boys? What would you say, Kevin?
I would have went with C. I was kind of torn between A and C, but looking back, C would be my go-to.
I see Steve nodding as well. Would you say Tamnavulin, Steve?
Yes, C. The only one I'm pretty sure it isn't is B.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Wouldn't it be amazing if Dalmore shut in the 90s? Absolutely, you're right. C. Give yourself a point if you answered C, like so many of the crowd did. Chris Moore is saying that he hears beautiful things about the 18. I wonder what dram you're talking about. I'm sure it's unlikely to be a Dalmore, but it could be. Question 2. John Duff founded Glenlossie Distillery in 1876. Then, almost 20 years later, founded which other? Now, the one I'm looking for is the one that he's famous for founding. John Duff, did he found A, Talisker? Did he found Longmorn, or C, Glenkinchie? A, Talisker, B, Longmorn, or C, Glenkinchie? I think this is tricky, but if you know this distillery and you love this distillery, you'd probably know that it's founded by a namesake, John Duff.
Ooh.
Precarious Dave is saying any relation. Absolutely. We just don't know that we are. The Whiskey Rev is saying an ancestor, perhaps. Yeah, I would like to think that my ancestry was responsible for Longmorn. Capable of doing a wonderful dram. Capable of putting out a terrible dram too. I'm going to use that to illustrate a concept one night. Using the Longmorn releases. It's quite a powerful message. What do you think, boys?
I'm thinking Longmorn, but
I think
Kevin?
Longmorn think they had something to do with, is it not the train tracks or something, at which there's 2 distilleries work close by. There's something ringing a bell with that for me, which brings me to B for that.
Well, that's one of the reasons that of the proliferation up in Speyside was the railway, the access from the railways. And I can tell you that it is in Speyside, absolutely. It's Longmorn. It's not Talisker. It's not Glenkinchie. It's Longmorn. Marcus Kreitner saying, Aquaviti, well, you gave the answer away there. It's something that I am capable of doing fairly regular, Marcus, as you know.
I'll be honest, I was thinking Longmorn before you kind of gave it away, but...
Yeah.
George T. Stagg.
What did I actually say? I actually outright said Longmorn, didn't I?
Several times.
Before I...
I never heard it.
Perhaps it's tiredness. Perhaps I need a wee break. Absolutely. Well, I've given you all, like I did on Thursday night as well. I gave away the last question of the night, didn't I, on Thursday? And it does happen from time to time. But question 3, George T. Stagg are typically released around what age? Now, this is the part of the BTAC, the Antique Collection, George T. Stagg. But I want to know, I was quite intrigued to learn this, roughly what age are they released at? Around 7 years old, around 15 years old, or around 23 years old? A7, B15, C23.
This one I know.
Royale has got 0 out of 2 and he's wishing he held on a sec because I'd have given it away to him. I'd have given him a point. Oh my goodness. And he's also suggesting it's perhaps too many drams. No, it's just too many things in my head. You know this one, Steve, do you?
Oh yeah, I knew this one before you put the answers up.
I wouldn't expect anything else. It's going to be tough for Kevin because I only discovered this, which inspired the question. I only just discovered it in the last couple of days myself.
Yeah, I'd be taking a shot in the dark. I would suspect 7 totally for financial gain, to try and gain your money back from building a distillery, to get it back quicker than waiting 23 years. And so I would pick A for that matter alone.
Climate's got a lot to do with it in bourbon terms as well.
Because yeah, it fast forwards the process.
Yeah.
Climate has
go with A.
It's 15.
Steve is absolutely right. B is correct. It's around 15 years old as they. I think sometimes it's plus or minus a little bit, Steve, right? But
yeah, it varies, but it's usually right around 15. Some years it's a little bit older, some years it's a little bit younger, but not by too much.
I'm going to attempt to open this. Yeah, it's open now. This Bal Blair 11-year-old hand bottling from Rolf.
Nice.
Just you'll notice that the drams that I've been pouring tonight as well, for all of you that are concerned about my consumption, I'm not pouring the full drams. I'll do that off screen. Okay, everyone. Well done. If you answered B, you're absolutely correct, as we roll into question 4 and say, which of these have not been bottled under the Distillery Labels series by Gordon MacPhail? Distillery Labels, that's when Gordon MacPhail usually, most of the time, get their own casks filled at a distillery where there's been a long-standing agreement, and they have the ability to sell it under a Gordon MacPhail label with the distillery name displayed. So they've had an arrangement with a lot of distilleries over the years. I don't know if it's starting to become less of a thing now, but it's certainly been a very familiar part of the Scotch whisky single malt landscape. But which of these have not been bottled under that range? Was it A, Longmorn, B, Linkwood, or C, Little Mill? Which of those three distilleries have never been bottled? All of them have been bottled by Gordon MacPhail, but I'm talking about under that licensed agreement, under that Distillery Labels range, where it was regularly available. It was pretty much a core expression that you could buy. Greg's Whisky Guide is called, this is called licensed bottling, by the way. Absolutely. That's what the Distillery Labels is, absolutely licensed. I don't know if there is a physical license or whether it's just a long-standing agreement. Almost the entire chat think it's a particular answer. What do you guys think? Kevin?
C for me, knowing very confident that it's C, with seeing the try another two and never been able to try that one from.
Okay. And Steve?
I was guessing B. I'm pretty sure I've seen a Longmorn Gordon MacPhail, but I'm going to guess B.
B. I can tell you that C, Little Mill. Little Mill has never been a licensed bottling from G&M, but Linkwood, for a long time, other than the only Linkwood you could easily get your hands on was from G&M, because the flora and fauna would often go off the shelves for a while. So if you wanted to try it, Linkwood, that was the only place to get it from. Lots of people celebrating 4 out of 4 tonight, so maybe not as tough as I thought. Let's roll into the picture tonight and ask. I have to say, I would not have got this. I have to be honest, boys. My heart goes out to you on this one. It's a toughie. Steve is going to be upset. But I'm going to ask, which more are we looking at? Are we looking at A, Parkmore, B, Dalmore, C, Altmore? I could have had Bowmore, or Cragganmore. There's lots of mores. More comes from the Gaelic, Scots Gaelic for big or large. So I were looking at Parkmore, Dalmore, or Altmore. Give me a nod or a shake of the head if you're confident about this. Okay. I thought that would be the case. I honestly thought that would be the case. I didn't know what we were looking at, I have to say. Scott Clark is saying, oh man. Ardbaggy is suggesting it's a banana skin. I have to say, I think it potentially is. Jean de la Cuisine agrees with him. And the Alchemist is here. Sevy, good to have you in, my friend, saying, no more. I can tell you that the distillery you're looking at, believe it or not, is Dalmore.
Wow.
Now, it's quite striking. It seems to me for such a high profile distillery that we would probably be able to recognize it, especially when you look at those pagoda roofs there, those twin ventilators up there. They're quite asymmetrical, aren't they?
Yep.
I was quite surprised, and I considered when I saw this image that I wasn't aware of ever seeing an image of Dalmore Distillery before. And Chad Adams is swearing. He's in a huff. You've let your politeness drop there, Chad. I've let it pass. I've let your frustration be known. Okay, question 6, everyone. Diageo created its flavour map in 2007 with input from which industry writer? Who helped Diageo in a consultative capacity to put together their, I have to say, quite useful and enjoyable flavour map if you're into such things? Was it A, Dave Broom, B, Jim Murray, or C, Charlie McLean? Who helped put together the flavour map? Give me a nod or a shake of the head, boys.
I've got a guess, but it's just a guess.
Good. You've both got guesses, and I can see by the gestures and the lack of commitment that they are guesses. I'm having a sip of this Balblair. Really full, really gorgeous, floral, honey, malty, rich, mouth-filling, wonderful dram. 2000, only an 11-year-old hand bottling, cast strength from Balblair. Delicious stuff.
Your guest from a few weeks ago, but
I'm sorry?
I said I'm guessing it's your guest from a few weeks ago, but it is just a guess.
Okay, so you think it's Charlie McLean. Kevin?
I would think it's him as well, with how out there he is with his flavour profiling. You see a lot more of him in tasting notes on bottles. I would also say Charles McLean was my first thought before anything came up.
Whisky Jason in the chat is predicting a banana skin, and it is indeed.
Oh.
It's Dave Broom. Now, Dave Broom back in 2007 would have been, I don't know, would have been around, he's in his 30s still, would have been quite a young guy back then. But he helped Diageo put together this flavour map, and it's based on 2 axes and obviously running from smoky to delicate, light to rich. And Diageo place confidently their own whiskies. But I think, as you can see here, you might be able just to make out that the triangular little icons here are non-Diageo products, while the circles are Diageo products. So you can try placing your own things on a flavour map. And if you do that with friends and see where they place things, it can be quite an interesting exercise. I never remember what the axes are. I mean, light to rich makes sense, but delicate to smoky, I always struggle to remember that. But it doesn't take much effort. Anyway, question 7. Where is Diageo's largest malt distillery located? So I'm asking you to know 2 things here. Where is Diageo's largest malt distillery located? Is it in Islay? Is it in the Highlands? Or is it in Speyside? Give me a nod if you know what their biggest is. It's tricky, right? Steve's not going to be happy with me. You're not going to be happy. I don't know if that helps you in any way.
No, not really.
I'm just looking to see the capacity, to see the size.
I'm going to guess Speyside.
Well,
I would say I would have guessed Isla for Lagavulin in the sense of malt mill previously being there and rebuilding on that and used for blending as well, that they maybe produce a lot more. That would have been my guess.
I have to say that I have made a mistake this evening, but it's fine. Everything is still intact. There will be points given out if you get it right. But because of where it's located, it looks like that they are actually. Where did you guess, boys? Kevin?
I said Isla, thinking Lagavulin.
Okay, Colilla is quite a bit bigger on Isla. Steve, what do you think?
Speyside.
You think Speyside? I thought Speyside as well, and actually this question says Speyside. But if you've answered Speyside, you're wrong. Because according to the Malt Whisky Yearbook, it's in Morayshire, and they are identifying it as a Highland distillery. I had made an assumption that it was a Speyside, and I realised as the question came up that I wanted to just see how big it was, 12.5 million litres. But if it's B for Highlands, that would be the correct answer, not the one I have, Speyside.
Which distillery is that?
That's Roseisle. Huge. One at the time that they built it, the only thing that could match it in terms of scale was Glenfiddich. I think they were maybe about the same size as Glenfiddich or slightly behind Glenfiddich. Roseisle, it's massive. It started production in 2009. It's been running since then. They haven't released a single malt from it. It all goes into blends. The only way that you would say that you've ever sipped a Roseisle single malt is part of the special releases. They had a collectivum release that had malts from all 28 Diageo distilleries that included Roseisle. I'm really desperate for a Roseisle to come out. I would love to taste what they're enjoying there.
Said it's Speyside, and so does Wikipedia. Not that I necessarily trust Wikipedia, but
A Wikipedia are saying Speyside?
yeah, Roseisle is a Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey in Roseisle near Elgin, Morayshire.
Elgin?
I'll
I have to say that in the Scotch Whisky Yearbook it says Highland, so I'm prepared for anybody who's answered B or C to take the points for that one. So really, the only person that's not getting a point is Kevin. Sorry, my friend. I'm not very nice to family members. People are picking up on.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Okay, question 8. So if you answered the B or C for question 7, give yourself a point. It seems to be ambiguous. I was certain it was Speyside. It may just be a mistake in the Scotch Whisky Yearbook, but far be it for me to make a claim on Ingvar Rond. It's a great book. Question 8. Aberfalls Distillery is located where? This is a wee bit easier. Is it in Northern Ireland, Wales, or England? But it's only easier if you know, if you've heard of it. It's a very new distillery. They haven't been going for very, very long. Where is Aberfalls? Any guesses there, boys?
I'm thinking it's but
B. I think it's B. Sounds Welsh. But no doubt it'll be A or C because I always choose. Seems like I'm on a roll of.
Steve, are you agreeing with Kevin or going somewhere else?
Going with Wales.
Spencer Mav is saying B is my best guess. Jude Roman, Chris Meir, Russell, Chris Banks Wildlife is in, Willie Dollier, all of these guys, David Owen, P. Dram, Graham Young, Jimmy Legg, everybody's thinking Wales as well, and I can tell you all, they are all absolutely correct. If you answered B, give yourself a point. Second from last question, who was appointed as the potential successor to industry legend David Stewart at Grant's in 2018? This made big news at the time. I didn't want to put it in the quiz at the time because it was such big news. But I think 2018 was a long time ago, and I wonder. I hope it's still the case. Actually, I'm sure it's still the case. Was it A, a 26-year-old Glaswegian biology graduate? Was it B, a 30-year-old Canadian chemist? Or C, a 40-year-old English pharmacist? Who is going to take over from David Stewart at Grant's? Now, that'll put them in charge of Glenfiddich, Kinninvie, potentially all the production of Ailsa Bay, Balvenie. That's some big, big boots to fill right there. So are we looking at a Glaswegian 26-year-old, a Canadian 30-year-old, or an English 40-year-old? Kevin,
Yes.
What do you think?
I am confident in my answer. So hopefully I don't get egg on my face. I am going for A, and it's a she.
A she, okay. Steve?
I was thinking the 26-year-old biology graduate.
Okay.
I remember reading something about that, and that rings a bell. I wouldn't have come up with the being a she, but that sounds right.
Okay. I can tell you that I did keep gender completely out of it, but it was indeed, and I'll show you a wee picture of her here, a 26-year-old Glaswegian biology graduate, Kelsey McKechnie, standing next to Dave Stewart and the Bulveni distillery. The youngest, I think, apprentice blender in the industry, I believe, as well, which was part of the reason it was quite big news. I hope she's still there. I hope she's doing well. And I can tell you, let's
wow. Got a couple of 8 out of 9s and a 9 out of 9 out there.
So you've got a great eye. You really have. I'm gonna pull this out and just pull you guys into a look at before we pull up the last question. Mark Slinger, 9 out of 9. Wow, I thought this was a difficult one tonight. Are you guys spotting any other 9 out of 9s?
No, I've seen a couple of 8 out of 9s though. A number of them.
So there you go. I thought it was a tricky one tonight. Marku is on 8 out of 9. Good to see you, Marku. Scroll down, 8 out of 9 for, there was a fill there and it's jumped and I didn't see. Philip Eagleton, 8 out of 9. Graham Fraser, 8 out of 9 few. So lots of people happy. Boys, can you share your score? Have you been keeping score?
I'm on 6.
6.
Well.
So there you go. The pass mark tonight is looking just now like it could be 6, potentially 7 if you're up against Steve and
if
Kevin.
You're giving the answer away again, I'll happily take it just now and run.
There's a good chance I'm likely to trip myself up and give it away. Let's go into question 10 and ask Jimmy Legg, is it an ASAC question? It's another White Mackay. We opened with a White Mackay question. We're closing on a White Mackay question and asking Prime Minister William Gladstone's family owned which distillery from 1830 until 1923? It was one of our famous prime ministers, the one that was responsible actually for taxing whiskey at its output after maturation. Huge change in the industry, and he was responsible for that. It might have been because he had some interest in the industry, do you think? Sorry, say that again, Steve?
I wonder why he would have come up with that idea.
Absolutely. That would be circumstantial, but I think it's fairly safe. Okay. Is it A, Fetter Cairn, B, Dalmore, or C, Tamnavulin? You might recognise these 3 options from the very first question tonight. Which of these was owned by the family of William Gladstone? Now, I'm going back to Gladstone he was Victorian Prime Minister, I think. So around about 1850s, 60s, 70s, of that order, I think. I should know more about my history of Scotch whisky taxation. But that's the era we're looking at. Are you guessing, boys? I think you're guessing at this one.
I read Charles MacLean's book earlier, well, part of it, and something about Lawrencekirk has jumped out to me in the Gladstone family. So Feta Cairn would be my jump in for that. There's something, the Miscellaneous of Charles MacLean, or I can't remember what it's called, his book, I was reading it earlier, and that's jumping out right now for me.
I'm going to Fetter Cairn, so.
Fetter Cairn as well, Steve?
Yep.
And Kevin's confidence has dispelled any doubt that you've had?
Pretty much, yeah.
Fantastic. Erwin is saying, because we've had Dalmore and Tamnavulin already. Erwin, right on the money, my friend. Fetter Cairn. Well done, Kevin. Well done, Steve. 7 out of 10. That means the pass mark tonight is 7 out of 10. That's quite a big ask. But I have to say, the knowledgeable barflies, the enthusiastic whiskey folk have done well. I'll look at these scores. Fabulous. Whiskey Jason, 8 out of 10. Shane Leahy. Shane, I'm probably pronouncing your surname Leahy. 9 out of 10. Vicky Thompson and Desi, both on 7. Falsgraf, good to see Falsgraf on 7. Graham Fraser on 9. Fabulous. 9 out of 10 for Hoyt. 8 out of 10 for Spirits. I'm not seeing any 10 out of 10 emojis. No 10 out of 10 emojis have been struck tonight. Except for Alistair Gray, who's admitting 7 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10. But you matched the pass mark, Alistair. It's a shame you dropped out of the video, my friend. It would have been nice to have you in here and scoring the exact same as your two compatriots tonight. Alistair, thanks for dropping in and participating in our wee game show, Blind and 10 element earlier tonight. I hope you had fun. I certainly had fun putting a face to the name and having you participate tonight. Thank you. Jimmy Legg is saying 9 out of 10, but I claim 10 out of 10 because I am morally obligated to not answer Dalmore to any question. Jimmy, it's your world. I hope you're happy living in it, my friend. It sounds like a fabulous place to come and hang out. Maybe I'll be there with you one day. Whisky Novice is saying, Mark Slinger, 10 out of 10, well done. Mark managed a 10 out of 10, did he?
He did.
Where is Mark?
You have to scroll up a ways.
10 out of 10 for Mark Slinger. Woohoo. Mark is he's up there in Speyside, an Englishman living in Speyside. Fabulous guy. Got to meet Mark in the past. Wonderful stuff. Mark's saying, Aquavidi, 10 out of 10, but I think the photo was an old one. You might be correct. Regardless, 10 out of 10 is an amazing score, Mark. Very well done to you. Very well done to you. Boys, thank you so much for participating. Raise a wee glass and say goodbye to the barflies. Please hang around in the room and I'll have a wee chat with you before we wind up tonight. But it's been a pleasure having you on and a bit of company on this Sunday evening. Kevin, my cousin Kevin, my friend from the US, Slancha, Steve, thank you both so much.
Slancha, guys.
It's been a wonderful distraction for me on another Sunday night vPub. I'll be back on Thursday night with a theme. I don't have a guest lined up for Thursday night. I know I said that last week and I ended up with a guest, but I genuinely don't. Normally vPubs would run at less than 50% of the vPubs would have a guest in. Recently there's been lots of guests and I've really been enjoying that, especially when I'm bringing 2 vPubs a week right now. It's nice to have a guest to kind of shake up the fabric a wee bit and enjoy some extra value for you guys as well. But I think Thursday night will just be me. There will be a topic, there will be a theme. I'm working on it just now and I'll share it through regular social media channels. If you're a patron supporter, you'll hear about it there first probably. And I'll be excited to welcome you all back again on Thursday. Whether or not we try the game show thing, I don't know. I'll wait for your feedback. If you're giving me a thumbs up, if you're giving me feedback in the comments below, if you're getting a hold of me by email or direct message, I'd be curious to hear what you thought about it and whether you think it could be a reasonable thing going forward. Chris Mear is saying, can you call Keith in? I will do that. It could be that if he's around on Thursday, there might be an opportunity for Keith and I to discuss one of the topics actually on the list. Might be an idea, my friend. It might be. Everyone is saying thank yous. Everybody seems to be hanging around till this time. You must have had an okay time with it. And I would like to point out, I would like to take celebration in the fact that I've kept it under 2 hours tonight. It's easier when it's a kind of more laid back thing. Wonderful stuff. Molasses is saying cheers. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Greg's Whisky Guide is saying shake up the fabric. Sounds good, lol. Gixer Skipper Luke is saying gave up halfway through the quiz, but I'm blaming tiredness. Early start tomorrow for work, so wish everyone good night. Stay safe, barflies. That's a great sentiment, Luke, to finish up on. I hope that everybody, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're sheltering and hiding out at home or whether you are like Luke and going out to work, I hope that you do stay safe and play it canny over the next few days. I'll be very much looking forward to welcoming you back to another vPub on Thursday. And in the meantime, stay healthy, everyone. Thank you all so much for your fabulous support, and I'll see you soon. Slancha va.